I picture me driving the foreign. She riding the passenger side. Lost in the strip by 3 in the morning. She riding 3 in the morning. So much pride. 'Cause she was there. She was there from the beginning. Oh, baby, you was there. There from the beginning. I picture me driving the front, and now my history is changing. She's my day one, and there is no rearranging. She's had my back through the times when things were straining. Now she benefits from every cent I'm gaining. Listen to what I'm saying. No dividing, no compromising. She gon' ride while I keep on climbing. Just recognize we gon' keep on thriving. She believe that I'll see greatness in due timing. I picture me driving a foreign. My shawty, she riding the passenger side. Lost in the strip by 3 in the morning. 3 in the morning. She riding like hell with so much pride. She was there from the beginning. In the beginning. There in the beginning. Picture me driving in the beginning. Foreign with my lady.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the Bag Talk.
What's going on? What's going on, Ja?
Oh man, I can't complain, man. Happy to be here with you today, man. Want to tell our listeners what we got in store for them today?
Yes, indeed. I'm Mr. 313 Real Estate from We Management. We're going to be getting into a little two-row talk, how to make money in the rental car business, the two-row business, getting your dealer's license or renter's license. And really want to emphasize today the importance that it is a business, it's not a hobby. So we're definitely going to get into the details about that.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Who you gonna be talking to? Let them know who you gonna be bringing in, and touch bases on that Turo thing.
Oh, I'm going to have my guy DJ Pleasy out of San Diego. San Diego is a very, very good market for Turo. It's very, very profitable. So we're going to have him jump in just a few minutes. He's going to tell his story, his experiences, and how he's been able to be successful in the business. So, man, it's going to be great, man.
Okay, so now let me ask you this: Have you tried Turo yet?
Absolutely. I've been trying it for a few months now, and, it's going great. And some of the things we're going to be talking about is how your least entry point as far as getting in with the least amount of money down without taking money out of your pocket. So I know a lot of people may be wondering, how much does it cost to get into the
Right,
Turo
right,
business
right.
and, things of that nature. But, you can really, really do this thing zero down, man. You don't really have to put any money out of your pocket. It's just really, the better your credit is in position, the easier the entry point is going to be.
Well, I'm glad you touched on that. That was going to be one of my questions. I mean, maybe you can touch a little bit on it, and then when your guy comes on, he can follow up with that. Now, what is the projected credit score for someone that wants to get into Turo? If they don't have money to really invest and put up or get cars or buy cars, what would be a projected credit score that they need to be at for a dealership or somebody to do business with them?
That's a good question. So here's the thing about credit. There's different areas and divisions of a credit profile or the FICO score, right?
Right.
So the main one everybody knows is FICO 8. That's where everybody would pretty much go to get your general score. That's for credit cards. That's mostly what that's for, or business loans, things of that nature. Is your FICO 8 score.
Now touch bases on that, because you said most people would know. Now, you being in the credit industry, you know that. Now, coming from where we pretty much come from, the inner city, most people right now, they are stuck on Credit Karma, other little, I don't want to call them generic, but not your major credit bureaus to where you get a good credit score. You know what I mean? Like to get an accurate credit score. So when you say FICO, can you give the listeners just a little bit of how the
Yeah.
FICO works and how accurate it is to your real credit score?
Okay, so FICO is from a company called Fair Isaac. They've been around for, over 150 years. Four presidents have worked for FICO. They're basically the company that monitors your credit worthiness for the banks. So it's
Right.
a way for the banks to have access to people's or companies' information to see what your credit worthiness is, to see what you deserve, for whether it's a credit card, a car, a house. So there's different modeling systems. The
Right.
most common one is FICO 8. So if you go to FICO.com and you get the membership, first thing that's pop up is going to be your FICO 8. That's the
Right.
main score, right? But you got the FICO 6 model, then you got the actual FICO 4, and you got the FICO 2. So those other models is used for your car or automobiles. So a lot of people don't know cars are the easiest thing to get out of everything from the bank's perspective.
Okay, so I'm glad you said that. So let me ask you this, because I heard different. So clarify this for me. I thought mortgages was easier because it's a longer term.
It can be, but that's kind of dependent on the market.
Okay.
There were times, even before the market crash, if you had a 550 score, you could get a $400,000 house. I'm sure you
Yes.
remember those times.
Yes, sir.
You can still get a mortgage with a 580 score, things of that nature. But with a car, it's like if you have a job, if you working, and basically you got a pulse, you can get a car. Like you can get a car with a 450 score. You can get a Ferrari
Really?
with a 450. Yeah.
You can get a Ferrari.
Yeah,
With
you
a
can
450 credit score.
I mean, of course, there's some
Oh, the interest is gonna be sky high.
conditions to that, but yeah, you can get a car. Anybody can get a car, man, if you have income, and if you can show that you can make the payments, or if you got to put some money down, you can get a car. A car is the easiest thing to get. Let me give you an example. Like,
Okay.
okay, let's say the Chase Sapphire.
Okay.
All right, that they starting off as a $10,000 car. That's the lowest you's gonna go, right?
Okay.
Now, it's easier to get a car for $20,000 than to get a Chase Sapphire car to $10,000.
Really?
Absolutely, because a car. Guess what happens if you don't make that car payment? What they gonna do?
Repo.
Yeah, that repo man's
He's coming
coming
to get that?
He's coming to get that whip, man. He gonna hook you. He gonna hook you. All right. Now, Chase, they give you $10,000. That's cash.
Right.
That means if you blow that off, they'll never see that money again.
Not at all.
But they can get that car back.
Right.
And all these other dealerships, they can come and they can resell it, and
Yes.
they can just keep it pushing. So that's why Turo is a great business. It's like you can even use your own car.
Yes.
And I encourage everybody to do that. Now, I'm not saying like if you got a Ford Escort, from 1992, you can put on Turo. But if you have a car, if it's in decent shape, if it's at least, think 10 to 12 years old, you can get on there and make some money.
Yeah.
Even
A
if
car
it's
that's
just the
reliable.
weekends.
A car that's reliable. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look at some of the cars you've rented from rental car companies.
And it's funny you say that because another thing. Like my youngest daughter, she was living in Hawaii,
Mhm.
and one of the things they're doing out there, they're actually renting. Since it's a shortage with rental cars,
Mhm.
they're renting U-Haul pickup trucks.
Yeah. I heard about
The
that.
$20 joints that you can rent at U-Haul, they're not the actual haul where you got the pull up door, the actual pickup trucks. They're renting those out for $20 a day.
Yeah. I believe it.
That's how tough it is out here in the rental car game right now. There's a shortage of vehicles. So
Yeah.
Turo will be the next wave right now, ladies and
Oh,
gentlemen.
it's the wave now, because the reality is, if you fly somewhere, let's say we fly to Atlanta tonight,
Uh-oh.
and we go
A-Town.
to I'm just gonna say a random Enterprise. How long the wait's gonna be?
Ooh, damn, the wait. Are they even going to have a car?
Right, but let's just say they had one. Maybe they got whatever. We waiting what?
Mid-size
2
car.
hours?
Yeah, probably longer than that.
Okay, so that's gonna
We're talking about Atlanta's airport.
yeah. So they say all right, it's gonna be $50 a day, but by the time they put taxes and insurance,
Insurance.
all these other fees,
The gas.
yeah, it's gonna be what 115 a day.
Yeah.
So now you paying $400, for
Well, I know you're not lying because me and Naturel.com, we had took a trip to L.A. About a month and a half ago, and I went to the airport to rent a car here in Vegas, and everything was booked. I mean, everything, and there was no major events going on. You still have COVID, so you would think that you would have your the picking of your choosing as to what car you can rent. I can't remember what we had, but just trust and believe. It was a very small car. It's a mid-sized car, and it was like $120 a day.
and and,
And that's all they had.
And I'll get into this later. And I'll go into more detail. But guess who can now buy these cars from these rental companies now?
Talk to him.
Me and you.
Come on now. Stay tuned.
Me and you, man.
Bag talk.
We can just go and all these companies. I'm gonna put them out. The Enterprise, Hertz.
Yeah,
Budget.
so we can touch on that too a little bit later on because I know some people may not know, but Hertz went out of business and will file bankruptcy, and I think Enterprise too as well, if I'm not mistaken. I know
it's a
Hertz.
wrap.
Yeah. Yeah. So, hey, this is the time to get in.
Yeah, I mean, people tired, man. I mean, you paying all this money for an average car, and you can go on the Turo app, and you could get a Camaro for $65 a day. Now, show me where you can get a Camaro from a rental car company for that price.
Right. Now, I'm glad you said that. That's a good segue for this question. Do you set your price on Turo if you're using your car or any of the cars that you want to put on Turo? Or does Turo have a sort of a template to where they kind of dictate what your car should be rented for on their site?
Well, I'm gonna get into more detail about that later on in the show, but yes, you can set your price. Now, Turo recommends a price for your car,
Okay.
and there's a reason why they recommend it. So you don't. That's why I say it's a business, and not to let your ego get inside because you might thinking, man, my car, I should get more money than that, man. They talking about I only should get $45 a day, but it's a reason why. It's a reason why they're telling you the price at the price that it is. So we're gonna get into that, and it's gonna make sense as to why you should go by Turo's guidelines at the very beginning instead of setting your own prices.
Now, okay, so now maybe we'll get into that later because y'all are you know a lot more about this than I do. But with that being said, are they setting the prices due to the market that you may be in? So like Chicago, LA, Atlanta, those are like major markets, right? Somewhere, let's say San Antonio, Oklahoma, those are smaller markets. So would they be different based on the market for the price wise to rent?
It could be, but a lot of times you want to get cars that fit the market. So what might sell here in Vegas might not sell in like St. Louis or Chicago.
Right, because like here in Vegas and like LA, it's hotter, so you would tend to think the slingshots or the convertibles, this is their market. But SUVs, I'm from Chicago, so and you from Detroit, so back home you got the SUVs. That's like the hottest thing on the market. They love the SUVs back home in the Midwest, So I see what you're saying. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. So that market plays a part, and in some markets, the price is just gonna be the same regardless.
Gotcha.
Like if you got if I got a Bentley's gonna cost.
Yeah.
A Bentley's gonna cost no matter where it's at, whether it's
Exactly.
in Portland, South Florida, Miami, whether it's in Des Moines, Iowa, it don't matter.
Right.
You gonna drop some racks for a Bentley. So that's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? So it's a great business to get into, but it is a business. And something I also want to get into is like the dark side of it, because I do want to give people a good reality, and that there's a lot of people who they might be on social media showing certain cars, and the reality is they ain't making no money really. It's more so they have another agenda to what they're commercializing. And I'm not knocking it, but I don't want people to get too sensationalized in all the luxury vehicles or the eye candy vehicles, because you necessarily don't have to do that to make
Oh no,
money in the business.
no, you don't. And I mean, we'll use the San Francisco market with them having. I think that market is real big with the smart cars, like the real small cars to get you to and from, because of the cost of living is so high.
Mm-hmm.
People tend to get something that's very economy friendly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good point that you brought up. Don't get caught up in trying to get the Bentleys, the Benzes, the Porsches, the G wagons, all these exotic cars, because 9 times out of 10, the average Joe is not trying to get that. They're trying to get a nice car to drive to and from while they're in town, and that's it.
Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, those cars, they do work.
Oh yeah,
Um,
but not your primary where you need to have, where you're just trying to come out the gate.
right. I think the problem is people are overreaching. So if you can't handle that, then you probably shouldn't do it. So let's say like if you ever driven like an exotic car before.
Yes, sir.
That's what's up. Which one you drive?
Uh, Benzes. I've driven a Lamborghini before. Drove in one. I ain't gonna say I drove it, but I've been in one.
Okay. So it's a very very unique experience.
Yes.
So I suggest anybody, like you got the Las Vegas Drag Speedway.
Right.
Uh, go somewhere like that and drive an exotic car before you get one. Don't just buy an exotic car just out of nowhere. You never driven it. It's very different. Very expensive, and you got to cover them costs, because a gearbox on like a Ferrari Enzo or a Lambo, man, those gearboxes, man, can run you $10,000-$15,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bet. So, let me give my man a warm introduction. Before we bring him in, we got my man
right.
coming out of San Diego, the 619, DJ Pleasy, doing it big in the credit space and Turo space, man. So, DJ Pleasy, what's good, man? Talk to me.
How you doing, brother William? How you doing? How you doing, Mr. 313?
What's going on, man? I got my co-host Jai with me, man.
What's going on, brother?
Ah, man, it's I'm out here in sunny San Diego, just living life. That California weather, man. I love it.
That's what's up.
Got it. So tell us about you, man. I know you were a DJ. So before we get into the credit and the rental car business, man, talk about your initial passion, man. How you got into that?
Oh, yeah. So I got 17 years on my belt, brother. I
Ooh,
got 17
okay.
years on my belt with this DJ situation. What I can say about that is, when I first started DJing 17 years ago, I don't know, I was in my bedroom. I was a 14, 15-year-old kid minding my own business. From the beginning, I love music, period, right? And so I was just DJing in my bedroom, and you know how moms be, your parents be. My mom started telling her girlfriends, you know what, my son is a DJ. He's DJ this, DJ that. And then, there was this one time she had a girlfriend in the living room, and then she said, "You think your son can DJ for my daughter's quinceañera, little birthday party?" And my mom was like, "Yeah, he'll do it. The lady ends up knocking on my bedroom, talking about, you know what? You think you can DJ for my daughter's birthday party? It's gonna be a small house in the backyard, blah blah blah, right?" And then I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, man. I don't be DJing like that. Like, I'm just a bedroom DJ. I'm just minding my own business."
Right.
But moms be hyping you up. And so the lady was like, "Oh, just 2-3 hours, and she pulled out $100 bill, right? Imagine I'm 14, 15. She pulls out $100 bills and puts it in my hand. She says, "Just please, I need a DJ. Nothing too fancy. Maybe one or two DJ lights, your turntables, and a speaker." And right there, it clicked. Something very magical clicked in my head. And I obviously at 14 years old, $100 bill is $100 bill.
Right.
But what clicked in my head was that I was able to do something that I love and get paid for it. And that to me, that instant, that moment, just blew my wig off. I immediately invested the $100 bill into. I had to get myself some little DJ business cards. I had to get a couple DJ lights. I mean, my first
Smart. Yeah.
DJs.
Went
I
back into business.
exactly, yeah. And like I just did it out of like the beginning. I didn't do it for the money. Even till this day. I mean, yes, I'm a grown man and we got responsibilities and all that good stuff, but I do it for the love of it and the money just follows. And so, I was 14, 15 years old. I started reinvesting right back into it. And immediately, I started putting money away because I wanted to, later down the road, put the big play into place. And so, like I said, it's 17 years later, I own currently a full-on DJ company where we provide services for weddings, corporate events, high school proms, college events. I mean, nightclubs, bars, a little bit of everything. And then, like I said, that's my baby. My first love is music, and so that's how that started.
Gotcha, gotcha. So, obviously, man, you've been successful, man, in the DJ space, man. You even kept it pushing even during the pandemic. So, what made you transition into like the car business and the tour business, man? What made you kind of change gears a little bit?
You know, I'm glad that you asked that question. That's a really, really important question because, so I am currently 34 years old, right?
Hmm.
When I turned 30, right? Because everybody's, what's the word I'm looking for? We were all brought up differently. I'm
Right.
Mexican American. So, my Mexican mom and my dad and my family, we was like, even my grandparents, they were like, "Oh no, you better not mess with credit.
Right.
Pay everything cash." That was how I was programmed. It's a way of thinking. That was my train of thought, right? And so I believe that to the core, brother. I
Hmm.
believe that to the core, like it was me. That's who I was. I always pay for all my cars cash. I don't care if the car, I was, 2021, the
Wow.
car was 15, $17,000. I saved all the cash. I paid it in full. I needed furniture for my first apartment. I paid it all cash, cash, cash. Never, never until I was 30 years old did I pay for anything that was brand new. I'm
Hmm.
sorry, credit. Like to
Right.
me, credit
Right.
was
Right.
like in my head, I was thinking, why would I use somebody else's money to pay for something that I can't afford right now? If I
Right.
if I don't have the money for it, I probably don't need it. That was my mindset.
Right.
And so I turned 30 years old, right? And I was dating this beautiful young lady. She's my wife now. And we got pregnant, right, with our first son,
Hmm.
little baby boy. And so, I was trying to be, big dad. And I told my wife, look, man, the car that we got right now, it's cool, but I'm trying to see if we get something nice, nice. You know what I mean? I got a family coming. And so I was trying to get something nice, nice.
Hmm.
And so I go to the bank because obviously, I've been studying and learning and growing with credit for the last 4 years.
Hmm.
Uh, so I knew not to go straight to the dealership because they'd be running up your credit score,
Yep.
your credit inquiries.
Smart
Got it.
man.
So that was like the baby steps, and so I went straight to the bank, right? And I was sitting in front of the bank teller, and I said, "Look, I want to see what your products that you guys have. My goal here is to get a loan for a car, blah blah blah, and get this car. Give me the check. I go to the dealership, right?" The guy looks me straight in the face and says, "All right, Mr. Roman, um, so what's your credit looking like?" And I said, "I don't even know what that means. Like, what do you mean?" He said, what's your credit score?" And I said, I don't know. I think it's good. That's exactly what I told him. And the guy goes, "Well, let me ask you this. Have you ever paid for a car on credit?" I said, "No."
Hmm.
"Have you ever owned a credit card?" "No, I've never owned a credit card. Never." To me, that was wild, right? Have you ever installments, revolving? She started talking in a different
Foreign
language,
language, yeah.
Right.
Right.
right? And I was just like, no, sir, I've never done any of that. I pay all cash. And you know, because I bank with Chase. I bank with Chase. And I told the dude, look, you can see my checking account, my savings. I had like three savings account, and I had one checking account, and I think I had something else. I can't remember what I had. But anyways, and I literally, because I was kind of getting heated because he was getting to my core with his
Mm-hmm.
questions. Not from him, because you know he was just doing his job, but to myself because I wasn't educated enough
Right.
to understand this lingo,
Right.
right? And so I told the guy, look, sir, can you just look at my screen right now, at your screen, and you can see my savings account, sir. Like I think when I was 30, I think I had like, you know, low key, I had like maybe like 60 grand,
Mm-hmm.
like in my savings account. Bro, I knew nothing about investing. I knew none of that. I saved my cash.
Work and save, right.
Right.
I thought I thought saving was the game, but now I know that's not true. But anyways, before I go there, right, I'm right there, pointing at the screen, and the guy said, "Yeah, I know you got like a little 60 something in the bags, you know,
Right.
between your savings account." And you know, I was proud of that because I work hard. I do my DJ, you know, all of that. Anyways, you know, I have my little bag right there, and told me, Albert, he looked at me straight in the face. Since you've never had credit, he said it in such a professional and smooth way, but I know he low key smacked me in the face with it. He said
Right.
the bank currently does not, we cannot verify whether or not you are responsible with debt.
Exactly.
That's what
Dang.
he said. And when he said that, I said, I kind of got my wig got split in half, right? I shook the dude's hand. I shook his hand. I said, "Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate you. You go ahead and have a good day." Because there was no loan. There was nothing. I literally didn't have a credit score. It
Right.
wasn't even like a thin file credit profile. I mean, I had nothing. I'd never furniture, no car,
Right.
no
He was a
nothing.
ghost. Yeah.
And so I walk away, brother. I walk away. I'm sitting in the parking lot, right outside the bank, and I'm not crying, but I'm low key like,
Pissed off.
how did that just happen to me? I just got schooled by this bank dude, and I got chips. Like I got chips in the bank. You know, what I mean, I had a little some 60, close to 65. You know, a little some. You know, but I
Right.
just got schooled, bro. So that moment, bro, I low key, I put my head down. I was talking to God. I'm like, look, God. I was talking to myself. I'm like, look, I'm gonna promise. I'm gonna promise that I'm gonna figure out this credit game. I promise on anything and everything that I love
Mm-hmm.
that I'm gonna do it. And bro, the reason why I understand credit right now is because I was in a predicament. I was a situation where I needed to learn about it. And I feel like I think that's probably most people's stories of
Yeah.
the people who do like credit repair and do like, you know, all those, you know, all those things. Because at one point you I don't know, I don't want to say you got schooled, but like you needed to know about credit. But see,
Yeah.
the whole credit situation, you can't use credit when you need it. You gotta prepare it, package it
Exactly.
so that in the
Right.
future it's ready to go.
Well, to touch on that, I mean, to be honest, in our communities, we're not taught about credit. We're basically
Hmm.
taught just to do as you was taught as a kid. You know, work, save, and pay for cash. You know, credit was taboo to us growing up. It wasn't until you
Exactly.
became a young adult that you saw the significance of having credit because now you're trying to buy your first home. You're trying to buy that first nice car. And you can't do it walking in the bank with cash.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to happen,
Right.
you
Unless
know?
you got a half a million or eight
Yeah, I
hundred
mean, and
thousand
even
cash.
then, you're buying in cash, but you're still not using debt the proper way, and that's what society is evolving into now. It's
Ooh,
more geared towards using debt in the positive way because we look this debt as a taboo. Oh, debt
exactly.
is wrong. Debt is evil. You don't want to owe nobody. You want to do it, but that's basically what fiat money is debt. Is legal tender. It's not even real money. So
Hmm.
well, that's for another show.
Right. Right.
We'll
Right.
say
Right.
that
Right.
for
Yeah.
another
Yeah.
show.
Yeah.
All right, but yeah, but it just goes back. We were just never taught. We're not taught that in school. We're not taught about economics or the importance of credit in the classroom or even in our community. So we all had to go through that hardship to learn and earn the significance of credit. So that's a
Hmm.
damn good story. Damn good story.
And so basically, like I was telling you guys, I had that. Like, can you just visualize it with me? I was in the car, just like, wait, what? And I'm the type of fella that, like, like when I say something, I'm gonna get it done. So I literally dove in, literally that as I was driving away from that from
Bank.
that parking lot at the bank, right? As I was driving away, I went on YouTube. I started like looking for books for credit. I started literally, I went on Amazon, started paying for books. I started like doing my thing. And one of the first individuals that I knew, and as soon as I mean, I done seen this video, no lie, and the video is probably like an hour and 15 minutes, over 300 times. Because I used to work for Amazon as a delivery driver, and I just had that puppy on replay, and it was Will Roundtree.
Mm-hmm.
Look at God.
Shout out to Will.
Will,
What up,
it, it,
Will? We gotta get
oh
you on the
man,
show, Will.
like I'm telling you, brothers, when I watched that video, the way he broke it down, literally from the basics, the way the five factors of credit, and he was just talking about baby steps. I mean, you know, and then I just started really going in, and I just started going heavy. So I literally said, all right, well let's play this game, because credit really is, like, in a nutshell, is your credibility. So credit is short for credibility,
Yep.
in order to see if you could pay something over time, you know. And,
Yep.
and so I figured that, like, I was just trying to get a car. I wasn't trying to like leverage credit, to invest with credit, to cash flow. That's like a whole different monster,
Right.
you
Yeah,
know.
but
And
that
get
was your segue. That was your segue to get you involved into that later on in your life. But you had to start somewhere.
hmm exactly right. And so, like right now as we speak, I own 7 credit cards,
Mm-hmm.
and four of them are 10 grand, because the bank sees my activity over time, and they see I pay it back in full. I pay it back in full. I use it for the business, pay it back in full, get the rewards points, use that, pay for a free hotel night, or a free flight, or free something, right? And so I literally like see the game, and I understand what they're talking about. And I mean, I low key just started. I'm not even nowhere near what my brother William is at, right? Nowhere near with my brother
He
Roundtree. Nowhere near that. But like I met my brother William. I would say I don't know, like a good 12 months ago. I was watching
Yeah.
Will Roundtree's live, and then I saw my brother. He was on his live, and then I'm like, well, let's see what this boy's talking about. Boom. And then I started following my brother, and then I started watching what he was talking about. And I'm like, wow. Like, people don't know that they don't know that you guys are literally dropping gems.
Oh
I
yeah.
appreciate that, brother.
Yes, yes,
Appreciate it.
they are.
So fast forward. I mean, you got G checks at the bank, and you realize, hey man, credit is the way to go. So where this has taken you right now? How were you able to use that to get into the car game and to kind of like exploit that venture?
Okay, so yeah, so fast forward, 4 years ago when I first started credit. I mean, I started with like just baby stuff. Of course, I had the secured credit card. Then I immediately applied with, haven't had relationships with Chase. I've been with Chase for over 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I,
That's
I
good.
just started a relationship with Navy Federal.
Yeah,
So
I like it.
I literally just started opening up accounts with banks that have like zero interest credit cards for like 18 months or plus.
Mm-hmm.
And I just put a little bit of money in those, and I put money in, take money out, so just to build relationships. But
Right.
basically, the whole Turo situation, the way that happened was, um, like I said, I never knew that. Like in my head, I didn't know that you could invest money. I mean, I knew like stocks, but I don't know stocks. I just
Right.
know that, all right, people do stocks and they put the money. You're a small ownership of X amount of
Right.
all that stuff, whatever, right? But like, I didn't understand what that meant. So I was like, with Turo, what I did, literally what I did, and this might be like a little too much for somebody, because you have to really, really know what you're doing. So
Mm-hmm.
I had a $10,000 credit card, right? A $10,000 credit card, zero
Okay.
interest. Literally the day that I got the credit card, I had it all planned out. I went to a couple of local mom and pop shop what's it called,
Dealerships.
dealerships. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Um, and I saw this car that was $7,000, right?
Boom.
So yeah, it was a a little small car. It's no
Right,
biggie,
right,
a
right.
little quick 7 grand. So I go there and before I got the credit card, because once you get the credit card, the 18 months starts counting. So
Right.
I wanted to make sure I was ready to rock before I pulled that trigger. So I go and I set it all. I set up the deal. I negotiated the deal, the numbers and all that, and I said I'll be right back. Apply for the credit card. I got a rush delivered, and boom, went to it, and I literally swiped the credit card. This is like, I mean, if you don't know what you're doing, you have to be really really smart.
Right.
I paid for the car, right? $7,000. So I got $7,000 in rewards points, and I'm like,
Ooh.
cool. Yeah. So I had a little, like, my first payments on the car were paid by that.
Okay.
So I put it
So
right back into the car.
you get the credit card, zero interest, right, for 18 months. Correct? No
Ten
APR.
thousand
All right. Now you
zero.
get the car, so you don't pay for the car. Then the points you got from the credit card paid the first three notes. So how much did you charge on Turo?
Okay, so I got like right now I
Good
got two
question.
cars. Okay, so I'm just working it. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been on Turo. I've been on Turo for about 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In the first, bro, literally, I put the car the same day. Like, as I was driving away. Actually, I didn't even drive away from the parking lot at the dealership. I literally took the pictures. I did the whole uploading of your vehicle. I uploaded the vehicle. I registered the Turo, the whole nine, right? Because I remember I
So you
did
did
my
it right
research
then and there, right out the gate.
uh, right there at the dealership. I took the pictures,
This boy ain't
bro.
playing.
No.
The next morning, the car was booked.
Wow.
Right, and this is a little Nissan Sentra. This ain't nothing magical, nothing too
Thank you.
crazy.
That's what I'm
You know what I
trying to
mean?
tell y'all.
Good
You
point.
you ain't gotta get
It
the Urus.
Like, this was just an economic low, like, gas saver slash 4 cylinder. It got the electric windows and all that, but nothing too crazy, right?
Right.
In the beginning, I was averaging about $45 to $55 a day,
Okay.
Now,
right?
how many days?
Obviously, one more time.
How many? I'm sorry. How many days? So you said 45, $50 a day. Now, how many days did you have it rented? Was it a 7-day rental?
So every trip is different. It could be the lowest it could be is like one day.
Right. Okay.
um but over time you start learning to change the settings on your Turo situation, because to me it just didn't make sense to let somebody borrow my car for one day. So I switched it to minimum rental is 2 days,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
because you have to, like, because I in the beginning I still do it, but in the beginning I got down, like, I cleaned the car, I vacuumed the car, I wiped the tires. It's got to look presentable. you
Exactly.
know Last thing you want to do is give somebody a dirty car. Them
Real talk.
reviews are really really important.
Right.
Exactly.
And so
Exactly.
so I put the car right, and literally the first booking was 5 days. In those 5 days, I think I made like $180, because
Gotcha.
Turo takes a cut. I there's different plans because of the insurance and all those good things,
Right.
but I do the 70/30. Turo takes 30, I take 70 of whatever we make, you know? And so I was like, wait a minute. In the first month I made $1,300.
Oh
Mm,
wow.
that's good.
And
Man.
I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Whoa. You mean to tell me that I could literally rent this car per month, average anywhere from 800 to 12 to $1,300 a month? I I already paid the whole car off.
So in
I
six
serviced
months,
the
the,
debt.
the car's paid off. No money. You didn't use none of your money. All you did was
Not
leverage
one
your
penny.
credit. So what could you do with 1,300 a month, just in your situation? What could that pay for?
Well, so obviously, I actually got another car.
Okay, you got another one. All
Smart
right.
man.
I got a 2018 Chevy Impala, bro, leather interior,
I
the whole
seen
nine.
that. It's nice.
It's sexy. It's a little some. I went up to, and this one is averaging 65, 75 a day.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So now I got two cars, bro. Now I got two cars going, and I'm just trying to figure out, like, all right, like, how do I get more cars? But like I don't want to expose myself too much, but
Hmm.
at the same time, you got to take a little bit of risk because if you just sit at home and you go into an endless loop of man, what if this and what if that happened, you just will never do it.
Exactly. Talk to
You
them.
know, you got to be able. You got to be able to like.
Take
I
that
mean,
chance. You got to take a
I,
risk.
but you got to do. It's an educator risk because I did my research. Not only that, like I'm still learning it. Like I'm
Yeah.
still like taking courses for credit. I'm still taking courses for Turo. Like, and like like some people like they see that and go like, "Wow, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Why not? I'm making money and just by what me my trial and error. See, what I'm telling you guys right now, brother, is not something that I like learned somewhere else. I did it. I'm telling you something
Yeah.
that I did myself.
That's key, man. So
Big.
this is one thing I want our listeners to take away. What made you just take immediate action and not just kind of like filibuster and pontificate about the ifs, ands, and buts and whatnots and what ifs? Like what made you just take action so quick? I mean, everything was just like you just did it and kept it moving, man. Where did that come from?
All right. So obviously, like when like okay, so an old man once told me, right? The guy's like 72, 73 years old. He told me probably like 2 years ago. I was still like kind of like getting my foot wet with credit, and I mean, I started 6 months ago with Turo, and all of that, right? He told me, Albert, you cannot save your way to wealth. And I'm like, what do you mean?
Say that again. Please say that again for our listeners, because that's key.
The,
That's a
the,
major key.
the OG, triple OG, he's a 30-year-old U.S. Navy veteran. The whole night, right? Got his own beautiful house. We were having a nice glass of wine. And he stopped me dead on my tracks. And he told me, Albert, you cannot save your way to wealth. And when he said that, once again, my head got split in half, right? And I'm like, I said, sir, please, like, what do you mean by that? And he says, the wealthiest of the wealthiest do not have one source of income, right? They have multiple sources of income. And he started sharing with me with like certain books. There's this book called The Richest Man in Babylon. Like whatever you're doing right now, stop what you're doing and go get that book. I've literally purchased the book The Richest Man in Babylon like 15 times. I buy the book and I give it to people. Like I just give it to them. And like I gave it to my barber, I gave it to my uncle, I give it to people. I give it away because they need to learn what's in that book. That's a beautiful book. I mean, they literally talk about multiple sources of income. It's a beautiful story. But anyways, he was telling me, look, read this book and read this book, and then my mindset started changing, and I said, okay, how do I generate income without necessarily being there while I'm generating income over here? You know, and so I discovered Turo, and when I first heard about it, I'm like, this is kind of weird, man. I don't know, but
Right.
you got to do more research. You got to understand it more often, and so the goal is not necessarily multiple sources of income, but more multiple sources of passive income
Passive income.
Hmm.
where you don't have to do anything. Obviously, with Turo, you do put in like a good, 25% of effort, and the rest is automatic. The car drive, there's somebody driving it. They fuel the car, they insure the car while the trip is going. All those things are automatic. Both of those cars are out right now as we speak. And
Gotcha.
so,
So they making
and
money
so,
while you
and so
sleep.
that's exactly like, who said that? I think it was 50 Cent. He said, "You ain't making money if you ain't making money while you sleep." And
Facts.
when I
Hmm.
was like, wow. And so right now, I wouldn't call it a predicament because, bro, I'm fired up. All I'm trying to figure out is how do I get more cars?
Right, man.
And
Well, we're gonna really get into that in a minute, man, because there's definitely a play to be made. So before we wrap, man, I wish, man, we could talk more about this, man. We're gonna have to have you back on. Hopefully, we can get you in Vegas, man, to
Oh, that'd be
come
dope.
in live in studio with us, man. Cause you're not far. I mean, San Diego about five and a half
five,
hours.
six.
Yeah.
So just tell us about your platform, what you do. Give us your handle, your information, man. What you got kind of like on the pipeline right now?
Yeah, man. So, like I said, my name is DJ Pleasy at DJ Pleazy Pleasy. Um, and so I'm on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and all that with a bag of chips. I got a DJ company. If you're out in Southern California, you need a DJ for whatever. www.thedjsd.com, and send me a DM on Instagram. And like literally, what I'm doing is what I'm telling people. It's not like I figure. I'm still figuring it out. So I'm always a student.
That's dope. Now let me ask you this quick question about the DJing. Do you network with other DJs, or mentor up and coming DJs to help them get in certain positions to be a successful DJ, you know, in different markets?
Yeah, so I low key I already do that. Technically speaking, we have 10 DJs on our roster. So if I have like a high school prom, or like a college event or things of that nature, I usually give that more to the younger, up and coming DJs, because you don't want to send a rookie DJ to do somebody's wedding. That's more of a, you got to be more well skilled and make sure you do that properly. But at the same time, that's where most of the cheese comes, because you mess around and make 2,500 or $5,000 for a 5-6 hour wedding. So
Right.
that's really where the main situation is. Or we could do the club situation too. I like the club. I went heavy on the club, especially like 21 to like 30. But after 30, I'm like, wait a minute, I can't let another man, aka the promoter, the owner of the club, play with my numbers.
Makes sense. Well, let me ask you this one last question before we go. Would it be okay if we get your information for real, from a man, I call him man, why he call you William, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Mr. 313. Would it be okay, because I would like to network with you on that level. I know a few DJs here in Vegas, and I would like for them to see if they can network with you and kind of get some pointers on how they can get themselves out there in the market, and just learn whatever they can learn so they can build and grow their skills.
I would have to agree with you. I truly believe that there's a reason for everything. And so if I could be of some help to somebody else up and coming, let's do it. I know there was a reason for this call.
Oh man, we appreciate it.
Man, we
I got a
appreciate
man
you,
here right here in
man.
studio that I'm gonna link you up with.
Sounds good, brother. Let's make it happen.
I appreciate you, my brother. Good to have you on the show, and we would love to have you here in the studio. If you're ever in Vegas, you got a home here at BU Network. Okay, you're more than welcome here anytime.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
Let's get
All
it.
right, thank you, brother.
Yes, sir. You're welcome. Let's do this.
All right, brother. Have a good evening.
You too.
Bye.
That was dope, man.
Yeah, that was dope.
You
Real
know,
good guy, man. Real good guy. I mean, we haven't met
Yeah.
face to face, but I could just hear the
You feel his
genuineness in his energy
Yeah.
in his conversation, and that's what this whole thing is about, man. You want to work and be around people that's willing to help navigate and help bring people up, and not try to hold everything back and keep it for themselves,
Facts.
And just take it out there, just working with you bringing people like this into the circle is a blessing, man. I appreciate you, brother. Take my hat off now to you. You know
No
what I mean?
problem, man. No problem. And the thing that stood out to me, man. Like, he did this just freestyling. Imagine if he had somebody to really game him up and coach him up.
Well, he's not on the call right now, but I think that's going to be a possibility. I think, by him getting his feet wet and what, we management have going on right now with this whole Turo movement, I think that is going to benefit him because he's already in it. He's already in that platform. So now he'll be able to take it to the next level by already having his feet wet.
Yeah.
You
Yeah. And the reason why we called it how to make money in a rental car business, because that's the whole point. That's the whole point of having a business. And I want to just talk briefly about opportunity costs. And so, John, when you hear the word like opportunity costs, like what kind of like stands out to you when you hear that?
For me, the key word is opportunity. The cost really is, for me, non and void, because with any opportunity, there's going to be a cost. So
Right.
when I hear the word opportunity, I want to know what type of opportunity that is going to benefit me to get into the game.
Yeah.
The cost for me is really not a big deal. Of course, you want to know how much it costs, where you have to put the finances at, but the opportunity in itself, if it's a good opportunity, for me, I don't care what it costs. I
Right.
want to be a part of it.
Right.
If I got to beg, borrow, or do whatever I got to do, go back to eating bologna. I don't even eat swine, but if I got to go back to eating, you know what I'm saying, wish sandwiches to get yourself into that opportunity,
Yeah.
it is what
it's,
it is
it's a
for
sacrifice.
me. You have
know,
to sacrifice it.
whether it's time, whether it's money, you missing out on something, missing out on the playoffs, missing out on whatever
Man.
you like doing. But a lot of times with us, it's money, and I want people to understand that. Our work for We Management. Of course, we have a rental car course
Right.
that we offer. I mean, it's like $497, which isn't bad. I mean, I think, not just because it's our course. I think we have the best rental car course in the game. Period. I've watched other people's courses. Is no comparison. But that course, it gets you kind of like knowledge, just kind of like introduction.
Yeah, it gives you an introduction to the game. And I'm going to say this. I'm not saying it just because I'm here and we're on the show together. I paid for the course.
Right.
I'm a part of it.
Right.
I'm going to learn. I'm going to get everything in order to be successful in it because I believe that much in it. So I advise anybody if they're interested to, check out my man Anwar, Mr. 313, get the info that you need to get. And, hey, get in there, get it how you live. Don't be scared.
Yeah, I think the course is a good start. It gives you, it gives people just a basic, kind of like outline of how they get started.
Yes.
And I just want people to understand that it is a business. And if you really want to take it to like a higher level, like if you want, 8, 9, 10 cars, things of that nature, it's gonna take a huge sacrifice.
Yes.
It's gonna take time. It's gonna take money. It's gonna take commitment. But it's all worth it, man. And I think sometimes we sell things to the masses, and we talk about the back end, the flashy stuff, the money that can be made, but we don't talk about the work that needs to be
Well, I
put
know
in.
we got to get ready to go, but let's say this because I think me and you be on the same page with this. You don't have to start off by getting expensive cars. If you're serious about making money in a car rental places, now I just shared this with him before we went on. I'm gonna rent my car out, and if I have to ride a bike to work or buy a moped,
I ride my bike sometimes.
that's what I would do, because I want to make money while I sleep. So if that means I have to sacrifice putting my car, which I have a decent car, I'm not rich, but I have a decent car. If I have to put that up to make passive income to get me a step further to my goals, it's just what I'm gonna do. Those are the sacrifices I'm willing to take to make it. So don't act like you need to go out there and get 2 or 3 cars right away just to make some money. Start off small.
Absolutely. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Tune in next
Yes.
Tuesday. We're gonna the tour
Bag
starting.
talk.
Bag Talk starting. The Cocktails and Credit Tour starting next week. I can't believe it's here already. So we'll definitely get
Yeah.
into that. Headed
That's
to
right.
the A next week. So
Shout out to the whole We Management team, Will,
shout
Mar,
out to everybody, man.
Christine. We're gonna shout out the people. I'm telling everybody I know.
Yep.
That I deal with.
Chris, Josh, Justin, Jonathan, Will, everybody, man.
The whole
Tia
team,
Lynch.
man. Stand up.
Lynch Mom, everybody, man. Thank everybody at We Management for always supporting me. And I will see you guys next week, next Tuesday, 7 p.m.
All right, that's it for the Bag Talk.
Potato sugar,
Yes.
Django isn't a slave. Django is a free man, you understand? You can't treat him like any of the other niggas around here, cause he ain't like any of the other niggas around here. You got it?
Yearning for your validation.
Validation,
All in hopes I'm in the conversation.
all in hopes.
Pour so much of me into you. Can't believe I ain't never feel for me instead of you. I slide in the coupe, I lose the roof. I die for the truth, abide by no rules. Devils in cahoots, drop a prayer on the screw. Got God on my side, how can I ever lose still? I wanna be humble, but I gotta flex. I don't wanna mumble, but I can respect. Respect me, nigga. I do it my way, they say it's live. If I sell my soul, what I got left? Because I don't need nobody else. I'm lying to myself. Not talking physical, dog, the spiritual and health. All these opportunities is higher right to tell. Got to get them in them stairs, cause the timing never fails. My advice, keep moving. If not, you can lose it. Wasting time on the clueless. Knowing they can never do this. Back. Tell them pessimists they need to spun. Cause whack, when